What's poppin' YouTube, and welcome to my channel, Astro Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse, Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And in this video right here is if your Black Moon Lilith is in the sign of Taurus or the second house. And I'll pause for the cause. If you don't know how to find your Black Moon Lilith, if you don't know about yourself through astrology or numerology, if you're a new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey of self-love, self-knowledge, self-understanding, if you don't understand how important it is to study your birth chart, to look at yourself, to learn yourself, and to love yourself through astrology and numerology, don't worry, I got you. There's a couple of videos. I put the link in the description. You have to watch them first to become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So if you look at your birth chart or your natal chart, it's the same thing. And you realize that your Lilith is in the sign of Taurus or it's in the second house, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's get it popping, shall we? Now you already know, before I start, I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities so y'all can visually see what Lilith in Taurus people look like and act like in reality. And then I'm gonna have a list of celebrities that have Lilith in the second house. So to start, we got Lady Gaga, Shakira, Kanye West, Bruce Lee, Will Smith, Bruno Mars, Halsey, Sierra, Floyd Mayweather, Sade, and Kalani. And now these are the celebrities that have Lilith in their second house. We got your girl Beyonce, Steve Jobs, Ariana Grande, Mariah Carey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Bow Wow, Meghan Trainor, Taraji P. Henson, and Robert De Niro. Alright, so boom, Lilith in Taurus and Lilith in the second house. First of all, what is Lilith? What does that mean? What does that represent? If you never heard about it before. In order for me to start this video, I gotta give y'all a little background of what Lilith means, to where she came from. And we're gonna have to go all the way back in the Maybach to the beginning of life, going back to the Adam and Eve. Like, these are I can't say this word, mythological stories that we have all grown up to learn about Adam and Eve. But Lilith, actually, in mythology, and like I said, this is mythology, these are myths, so don't take this story literally don't take this story literally as it happened, but take out the symbolisms and take out what it represented. So it didn't exactly happen how I'm about to explain it, because these are mythologies, different renditions of the same story, different ways of explaining it, but take out the symbolisms of what I'm about to explain to y'all. So yeah, Lilith, going back to the time of Adam and Eve. So Lilith actually was the first wife of Adam. Now, when the world was created, Adam was made from the dirt from the ground, and Lilith was also made from the dirt from the ground. So they're both made of the same material, both made equally. So they were equal people, equal partners, equal. So everything was cool, everything was Gucci. But then when it came to sex, having sex, Adam, being the man, wanted to impose his masculinity, wanted to, be the man, always in sex, always wanted to be on top, always wanted to dominate Lilith. And Lilith did not like always wanting to be dominated by Adam. She felt that we're both made from dirt, we're both equal. Why do I always have to be submissive to you like that sexually? Why do I always have to succumb to your dominance sexually? So she did not like being submissive to Adam sexually. And Adam, being the man, did not like that. So because of this, because Lilith wasn't able to express her sexual self the way she wanted to dominate sometimes, she wanted to be on top sometimes, she just didn't like being second. She just didn't like being under Adam all the time. So because of this, because of her not succumbing to his masculinity, because of her not succumbing to his wishes like that, she got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. She got kicked out of paradise. She got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. So now she's kicked out, and now she has this built up anger inside of her, because she realizes that she got kicked out because she couldn't express herself sexually the way she wanted to. She had to succumb to Adam or get kicked out. So as she gets kicked out, she had this built up anger. She then decides to express her sexuality elsewhere, so she has sex with like the demons and the other creatures. But because of this, Adam then came Eve. Eve was made from the rib of Adam. So instead of Adam and Lilith being both made from the dirt, being equal, Adam and Eve were made from the same body. So they became like yin and yang. They became one. So we had the masculine energy, feminine energy. They became one because they're made from the same body, made from the rib. So it became one instead of them being equal partners, if that makes sense. So that's where Eve came about. So Lilith is kicked out. She's furious. She's angry, all because she couldn't express her sexuality. So Lilith, the image, the symbolisms of Lilith is like the dark, it's like a very dark energy, very dark, extremely sexually attractive too. Very dark, extremely sexually attractive energy that got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because she couldn't express her sexual way. She couldn't express herself sexually the way she wanted to. So now understand this. So now she wanted to get revenge for like she's angry because she got kicked out of the paradise. So she wants to express her revenge. So some stories say she went and started killing babies, went on a rampage, started killing, just wanted revenge. Some stories say she came back as a serpent and started talking to Eve, like, listen, Eve, you don't have to really listen to Adam. You don't have to listen to everybody. You could do what you want. You should eat from the tree of life. You could do what you want. You're a woman, or you could just do what you want. So like, a representation of Lilith is like her coming back as a serpent, telling Eve that you could do what you want, eat from the tree of life. You don't have to succumb and be submissive all the time. So that's what Lilith in mythology represents. When it comes to ancient mythology, the myths represent. Now in your birth chart, what Lilith represents in your birth chart is like your dark shadow side. Remember, Lilith, when she got kicked out, she had pent up anger because she felt rejected. So she was really, really in like her dark space, and she had like relationships with the demons and the darkness. Some say she had relationships with like the devil and all that. So it's like a very dark energy. So in your birth chart, Lilith represents your dark side, your shadow side that is deep down inside you, that we all have, that can come out at any time. Either you're repressing it or you're expressing it out in a very extreme way, but we all have these tendencies inside of us. So having a Lilith in Taurus or in the second house, what happens with this placement is when it comes to your desires, your pent up dark desires, is like you really have a strong desire for feeling good and your pleasures. Remember, Taurus, all about the five senses, feeling good, tastes good, smells good. So that dark energy comes out in this placement as you have a really strong desire for things that feel good, taste good, smell good, but mainly your pleasures. Pleasures is like a really big thing for this placement. So understand that you have inside you a real need to express yourself when it comes to what you like to eat, what you like to taste, the clothes you wear, material possessions, and especially pleasures is a really big thing. Now Lilith, like I said, she wanted to express herself sexually. So for her, sexual liberation was like her thing. Like she wanted to be who she wanted to be without nobody rejecting her, without nobody trying to conform, nobody trying to like bring her down. So with this placement, having a Lilith in Taurus, you could be prone to expressing your sexuality through the nice things you have, through the nice clothes you have. You could always be attracted to just things that look good all the time. To like, you could really be obsessively obsessed with things that are just like appealing to your pleasures that look good. Material possessions, you could definitely be materialistic with this placement. But mainly, you could really express your sexuality. You could really try to attract people into your life, mainly by the things you have and what you wear and how you smell, like your material possessions. Also with this placement, you could really like have a need to either you're afraid that you might not have money, so you're always very like you kind of like hold tight to your money so much, or you become a hoarder, or just like really have a strong fear that you're going to be broke one day. You just have this fear that you're going to be poor. Or it could be to the extreme side when you're just overly spending money, being frivolous with your money, being greedy, always wanting more, always feeling like you don't have enough, that you always want more of something, you always want the best of something, but being very greedy and wanting too much of it, overindulgence, especially when it comes to pleasures. So with this, be careful. You could really be like prone to really like having sex like a lot, because you just like the way it feels. Like pleasure, there's nothing more pleasurable than sex. So having Lilith in Taurus, Taurus ruled by pleasures, Taurus loves things that smell good, taste good. You can have like a really strong pull towards like being so indulgent in your pleasures, so especially with sex too. Now with this placement, you will attract people into your life. Be careful that they might only come into your life because of the material possessions you have, because of what you look like, not because of who you are as a person, but because of what you have. Like you will find that people want to be around you because of the nice things you have, or if they secretly want to have what you have, want to take what you have. So understand that your Lilith placement is like the deep dark energy inside ourselves, the deep dark urge inside ourselves, and it's in a sexual manner because Lilith is a very sexual creature. So understand that it's going to be expressed in different ways between man and a woman. When it comes to the female, she's going to express it like by the way she dressed, being very sexual in her nature. When it comes to the man, he's going to be very attracted to women that are very like, materialistic, or very attracted to women that really have like the nicest things, the nicest clothes. They really attracted to women like this. It's like their weakness is like women that are so physically attractive, women that are so like, sensually attractive. So you could be really like it can have like a real weakness towards these kind of women. But understand that having a Taurus and Lilith, you're going to really be careful that you don't really put so much energy and emphasis on material things, so much energy and emphasis on your pleasures. And understand that you could also have a tendency to want to try to own people instead of like having a relationship with people. You will lure them in with what you look like and how sensually sexy you are, because Lilith and Taurus are very attractive sensually. Like it really lure you in by the way they look, the way they move. Like it's ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so Venus is very attractive, very sexy like that. So they can really lure you in by the way they dress, how they smell, like what they could do, the way they could touch you. Like they really have talent, really getting you weak through their sensuality. But one thing about this placement is they have this word called hedonistic. You could be hedonistic, and that means that you could be a slave to your pleasures. So understand that you could really be obsessed about things that feel good to you, things that taste good to you, material possessions. Like that hedonistic word is really like a word used to describe a Taurus Lilith. You could really be a slave to your pleasures. So understanding this about yourself, looking at your chart and understanding, all right, so I have a tendency, I have a deep dark urge deep down inside, because Lilith is that deep dark sign, deep dark energy inside of all of us. So you have a deep dark urge to really be indulgent in pleasures, really be indulgent in material possessions. So that's why it's very important to look at your chart, to understand yourself, to study yourself, and to know why you do what you do. Lilith is that sexual energy, so you can express your sexuality in a very sensual way, just to lure people in, and then at the end, just to want to own that person, like want to have them as possessions, rather than wanting to have a relationship with them. So understand that y'all have a tendency to just look at people, look at everything in your life as a possession that you just want to own and have. So Lilith, she felt rejected, she felt repressed. So you could really be repressive in your earlier years, or you could be repressed of this energy as you wanted to hoard onto things a lot, or you could be afraid to sensually express your sexuality in the beginning, but in your head you really want to be that sensual being. Or you could be attracted to people that have money and only want to be around people that have money, so you could gain that, material possessions. You could gain the finer things in life. Taurus is all about feeling good, smelling good, the finer things in life. So you could be attracted to things like that just for the pleasure part of life, just for the feeling of it, but then having no depth to it, or not really wanting to go deeper, or just wanting to own it and hoard it for yourself. So Lilith placements is a dark shadow side of ourselves. Lilith in Taurus, Lilith in the second house, you're going to take the Taurus energy and you're going to see the dark side of Taurus, which is like the obsessiveness of pleasures, hoarding, being greedy, wanting too much all the time, not really wanting to own people, like the dark side of this energy, you'll have a tendency to have this deep down inside you. It could be if you're living on a dark side of life or the light side of life, that's how it will play out differently in people. But all in all, understanding that you have this inside you, you can really be able to have the answers as to why you feel the way you feel, why you are drawn to doing what you do, why people attract you the way they do, why people always want to be around you because you have nice things, or why you kind of purposely low-key put on the nicest clothes, really try to be like very sensual and sexy to lure somebody in that has material possessions, or to lure somebody in that you could gain pleasure from in a way. So like this placement, really be careful that you don't become a slave to your pleasures and to what feels good all the time in your life. So that was my video on Lilith in Taurus. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is going to be on Lilith in Gemini, and that's my placement. My next video is going to be on Lilith in Gemini, and that's my placement. So you already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate all y'all for real, for real. We're growing so fast. You already know. If you haven't subscribed yet, though, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead, handle that one time for your boy. Don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, and be safe out here. It's your boy, Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie. I'm gonna see all y'all when I see y'all.